Well, welcome back. My name is Kome, and in this class, we are going to finish up our class on arrays. And in this session, really, what we are going to do is that we are going to we are going to really merge two arrays, and that will mark the last part on arrays. And we are going to be merging two arrays into one. And I'll move straight to where I store my programs. And then I will simply create a file called merge.c or merge arrays.c, where I intend to merge my two arrays, stdio.h, as obvious you have that. I will define a size of 20 or maybe a size of 40 for my arrays. And then I'll move straight to int main. I will declare an array of name A of type integer, which will be having the size there. I'll be declaring another array which will be having size. Remember, I used size as a constant because I'm using it severally. Therefore, if it's used severally, you can declare it there on top as a constant. And then I also declare C, which will be the size. I'm also declare J counter, K as a counter, and I as a counter. So from there, also declare N1 and N2 to store the number of elements for each array. So I'll begin by prompting the user here, printf, enter the number. Maybe this can move to a new line so that at least it becomes more visible. Printf, enter the number, enter the number of elements in array, in the first array, and then we'll scan f and receive using the type specifier for an integer and then address of n1. This will mark the number of elements for our first array. And therefore, having that, we can now loop from 0 all the way to n, to less than n, or n minus 1, then I plus plus, and every time we loop, we will simply be scanning f, or you will be asking the user to enter the whatever element, which will be now I plus 1, because its position, maybe for position 0, if I is 0, then that is the first element. That's why we have I plus 1 there. Then we scan f and receive in using the address of, we will receive in A the size of I. Then from there, you simply end that loop there. This one will have allowed us to enter n elements. This one to enter, let's say 5. That is for the first array. We are done with that one. So we repeat the same song and dance for the second one. So as I'll explain, maybe those who didn't get the first time. So I'll print f, instead of copy pasting, enter the number elements in the second array. Scan f very fast, %d, and then ampersand for the address of ampersand n2. So now we can have for j is equals to 0, j less than n2, and then and then j plus plus. This reminds me there is an error here. This one should be n1. Sorry for that. N less than n2, j plus plus, and we should be receiving in scan f. We can tell the user to print f, enter the whatever, enter the first. This one should be followed by the one element anyways. Elements, enter the first, second, or third element, and then From there, we'll just have j plus 1 for the first element, and every time you have, let's say, the second element, then we'll be entering the second index, will be entering the third element. So from there, we'll scan f %d, then ampersand a, ampersand now b, sorry for that, b j, and then we'll have something that looks like that. So having done that, then I'm rest assured that I have entered my two arrays. Now what is remaining is for me to do the merging of the two. So I've entered here the first array, which is BAI, and the second one BJ. Now, how then do we merge the two into the array with the name of C? So I'll have my for loop. So I'll start for I is equals to 0. Every time I is equals to 0, you can have more than one parameter here. For I is equals to 0, for j is equals to 0, for k is equals to 0. Every time then that is 0, then you can come and compare. As long as j, we want to go through all the elements. As long as j is less than n2, and as long as I is less than n1. So j less than n1, or maybe I less than n1, and j less than n2. So as long as that one happens to be true, then you'll be looping through all these elements and adding k plus plus. So from there, I'll come here and end my loop there. So inside the loop, what will go down here? So I'll come and compare if the first element, if a of course it is ai, if ai happens to be greater than b j, then what we store is if ai is greater than b j, then you'll come here, you'll open our brackets, and of course close it there. We'll come here and assign now ck, or ck if ai is greater than bj. If it's less than, that's when if it's greater than bj, then the ck, we want to store in ascending order. So if ai is greater than bj, then you store the bj here. So is equals to bj, then j will be plus plus. Otherwise, else you'll be having ck. Of course, you will end the loop there, meaning it is less than now. And if it is less than, that's the smallest, and that's what we will store. Ck will be given by ai plus plus. So having done that, then we are just assured that we'll have done our just some small indenting here. I like indenting so that it looks nice. So maybe all these should move one step inside so that you can be able to. Thanks for that. So this is the for loop. And then once we end up with our for loop, then we are sure that what we have gone through are only elements when this condition is met, as long as I is less than n1 and as long as j is less than n2. But I could be more than, there could be some element which we have missed out here, because this condition may not hold true for all of them. Okay, for example, assuming we have an array of size 10 for I and an array of size 20 for n2, then you realize that when we get to 10, this condition happens to be true. But when we get to 11, assuming that now n1 was 10, when we get to 11, this happens to be false, and therefore, if this goes all the way to 20, the elements will have been missed out. And therefore, we must come again here outside the loop and do our while loop, where we can say while Now the new value of j, of course, at this time is the highest. So while j is less than maybe n1, then we can come again and reassign. Of course, we'll end our loop there. We can come and assign. You can come here and reassign our, of course, element c, and then c k plus plus k plus plus. We'll assign that to a j plus plus. So we'll do the same for while j is less than n1. Okay. Okay, I think I made a small mistake. Less than n2, but I is the one that is less than. So while I is less than n1, so we'll come and loop here. We'll have c again k plus plus being equals to, because this was for j we had the b, so this was b. I'm sorry for that. This should have been b, and this one here is our a, and then a, and then we have I plus plus. So having done that, then we are rest assured that our loop is okay there. So we can come and try to spit out what we have. So we can say for I is equals to 0, and then I less than n1 plus n2, because that is the number of loops or the number of elements that we'll be having at the end of the day in array C. Then I plus plus. Then from there, you can come and end that loop there. You print f to the screen and say, and now here we can come and print our array. So using the %d, then you'll have our array C and then I. And then we can end it there. Of course, you may want every element to move to a new line, but this time I can use the tab for that matter. From there, I'll come and return my 0. And I'll try to see whether this works. I'll save yes. So GCC again, I try this, arrays.c output, merge arrays. Errors, are there errors? No error, very good for that. Merge arrays, let's run that. Enter the number of elements for the first array. I will say there are 5. Enter element 1, I will say 10. Enter element 2, 20. Enter element 3, 30. Enter element 4, 31. Element 5, 32. Enter the number of elements for the second array. I'll say they are 4. Enter element 1. I'll start with 41, 42, 43, 44. And finally, you can see 10, 20, 30, 31, 32, 41, 42, 43, and then 44.